Hi, welcome to the final installment of How to Gear for Alliance Heroes of the Spire. Today we're going to be going over the Chaos Heroes, everything that's 3-star and greater. So again, the Chaos and the Order Heroes are a lot more rare than your main 3 elements because you can only pull them through Order Chaos cores. So let's start off with the Alchemist. Chaos Alchemist, standard stuff on first and second. By standard, I mean standard of all the alchemists. They either have this or an extend buff. This one's a cleanse, so it removes all from an enemy and gets another turn. The thing that makes them unique is their skill 3. Their A3. So this one gives an ally one of the following 2 buffs, or buffs for 2 turns. So he does heal, haste, debuff immunity, or stealth. It's kind of an interesting mix of buffs. Albeit for gear, you'd go Witchstone on him so that his buffs are stronger. Everything is 50% more efficient or cannot be dispelled. The downside to Alchemist is you don't know which one of these buffs you're going to get. So it's kind of like Russian roulette. You roll the dice and maybe the buff is useful, maybe it's not. Like if you put Stealth on Giles, your tank, well, crap, that's not really that great, So all the Alchemists kind of suffer from that. But it's, if you need a buffer, they can definitely do that. I don't really see any huge use of them. Then he does a heal whenever he does a script of purification, which is this one right here. He doesn't remove all buffs from the enemy. He's not a stripper, he is a cleanser. So he cleanses a single person on your team and heals them. Overall, they're not that impressive. But if you were to gear him, if you want to use him, none of the alchemists are really that impressive, to be honest. This is too RNG based. It can be good if you get like all stealth buffs on your DPS, or all debuff immunities on everyone, or all haste on the guys that need haste. But there's no way to guarantee what you're gonna get. Anyways, moving along. So we have the bear, Ragnar, the Dark Bear, Chaos Bear. So again, he has the same first one. He does a dot if your target is below 40% life. He does a slow debuff on the second. He has this interesting passive that anytime an enemy dies, he gets an armor buff. But, none of his abilities scale off of armor, so it just helps him survive, but he doesn't have a taunt, so he's good against light content? He would be good for the current extra dungeon. There's a dungeon for the event that's going on right now that's all light targets, so you could use a dark tank against that and he wouldn't need a taunt. Would you build him just for that? Probably not. He gives all Chaos allies an extra 15% bonus HP, so you can build an all Chaos team and give him extra HP. Again, not super impressive. If you wanted to build him, the only reason I would see to build him would be an off-color tank, the tank light stuff, the order stuff. So you just as much HP and defense as possible, just so he takes as much hits as possible. None of his stuff scales off of defense or armor, or defense and armor, it's kind of the same thing. None of his abilities scale off of armor or HP, so there's no reason one is better than the other. So split them, just make them tanky. Again, we have our oddly placed elementals, the Dark Elemental Eclipse. They have stuff that's based off of max HP, like this one. Stuff that's based off of healing for damage done, so it's based off of attack, like these two. And then this says that Soul Scream does double damage if the target's HP is below 50%. So this will do double damage, which is an AoE. So since it's AoE, he can actually maybe do some decent AoE damage. That being said, if you pulled him early on, yeah, by all means, rock him out. Put some power on him and use him as an AoE damage dealer. If you pull him late game, other than having a Chaos damage dealer because you absolutely need one, you're probably not going to use him. So I wouldn't invest too heavily in him. But if you were going to use him, standard attacker stuff, early game, just focus on power or enough HP so that he lives, and then power beyond that. Once you start to get gear, you can move over to War Tech and Crit Rate. And now we have a good Nat 3 Dark hero, Hyacinth. I guess is how you'd say it. The Chaos Fairy, right? Chaos Fairy is awesome because she has an AoE sweep, which is always a good thing. I'm sure many of you guys have figured in the arena that AoE sleep is awesome. She has the same skill 1 that every other fairy has, but she has this passive that every time she attacks, she has a 50% chance to heal all allies for 5% of their HP. Okay? This is interesting because her skill 3 can hit 2 to 3 times. So if it hits 3 times, that's, you know, what? 0.5 times 0.5, that's 0.5. Those are the odds of her not healing at all. But it can have, each hit has a 50% chance. So a lot of times she does anywhere from 5 to 15% AoE heal to everyone. You know, that can crit, so you put some crit on her, and that is now even more healing output that she does. And because it activates every time she attacks, you can either put her on Iron Claw so that she does the revenge on her A1, or you can put her on Swift Steal so that she has an extra chance every turn to use the A1. The plus and minus between those two sets, obviously Iron Claw, she needs to be getting hit for it to activate. Swift Steal, it can activate even if she's not getting targeted, but if she puts someone to sleep and it activates the Swift Steal, she's going to immediately wake them up. So you have to pay, if you do go the Swift Steal route, pay attention to who you actually catch. Even though this is an AoE, you get to choose your target that you click it on. That target is going to be the target she hits whenever the Swift Steal procs, the extra A1 attack procs. So you want to target the person that you don't mind waking up with this AoE sleep, if you're in the arena, for example. But really, she shines, you know, early game, I would just go crit rate on the weapon and go as much survival gear as possible, so HP defense and double block. Once you get into late game, you want to get her crit rate up and you want to get her crit damage up, because crit damage actually affects her passive healing output as well as the damage she does. So you can actually build her where she does decent damage and really good healing on an AoE scale, because this is all AoE heal every time she heals. And again, you know, you want to shoot for either Iron Claw or Swift Steal on her. There's really no other reason to choose another set besides those two. Anything that gets you more attacks, and those are the two sets that do that. So yeah, really good in that 3. If you get her, even if you're not using her right now, hold on to her. Do not feed her. Everything we've talked about so far, I wouldn't really be too sad. I would never feed a Light Dark monster, Order Chaos monster, unless you have a duplicate. But I wouldn't feel too bad with the other ones if you fed them. Yeah, this one, do not feed her. She's great. Alright, now we have the Chaos Petra Onyx, the Chaos Stone Giant. They will forever be known as their whatever element Petra, since Petra is by far the most useful out of them. Not necessarily the best in certain situations, but the most well-rounded one. But yeah, so he has the same A1 as Petra, where a chance to stun, and the stun chance increases if their life is below threshold. Then he has an AoE attack on his A2, which is an AoE Confuse. Kind of cool, you know, but it's only a 20% chance. So there's a lot of other heroes out there that aren't Chaos that have AoE Confuses, like one of the pirates that just came out. One of them has a AoE Confuse. But, you know, AoE Confuse is really strong. You would just need a lot of aim to get this 20% up to actually proccing and being able to bypass the block. And then his third, it does, you know, 30% bonus damage for debuff on the target. Single target attack. Downside, this is based off of HP. These are not based off of HP. At least they don't say they are. If they were based off of HP, I would say he's amazing. Because they're not, he's sort of gimmicky. You know, use him for an AoE Confuse. Other than that, I mean, we don't know what the modifier is on this. You know, no one's data mined modifiers. If this had a ridiculous modifier on it, maybe it could be worth it, but, you know, having a mix of HP, you know, obviously you're going to build him with HP for his A1 to do the most damage as possible, but having his A2 and A3 not scale off HP kind of really hurts him. That being said, I would hold on to him. How I would gear him, you know, you can gear him with lots of aim. He would need aim for his A2 to be useful, which would also increase the stun rate on his A1. So since you have aim on him, why not throw some Iron Claw on him where he revenges? You know, why not? You could use him as a light tank. He'd be a better candidate than the bear for a light tank, because he has more utility in his skills. I'll say that. Alright, moving along, we have the Chaos Rust Hound, Delta. Same Sikkim, double attack, heals himself. Same guard, he guards an ally for 2 turns. Then he has aggression. So this is another common ability across the dogs. A lot of them have this. He has a chance to continue attacking, 30% chance. It does damage based off his HP. So does this one here, I think. No, it doesn't. It just heals him based off of his HP. But, you know, he has abilities that are based off his HP. And he has this built-in reflect. So he's a decent little support guy. Everything's based off HP, but from what we've seen with all the dogs, you know, they kind of scale really poorly. So you know, hold on to them if you want. If you want to build them, just throw on as much HP as possible. Probably build them similar to how you would build Petra, which is just, you know, standard HP with as much bone gear as possible. As far as the 4 set pieces, you know, I can't really think of any of the 4 sets that he would benefit a lot from. So, you know, I would just go more bone for more HP. Alright, now we have the Dark Minotaur. Again, he's going to have the same first and second as all the Minotaurs. Chance to stun, chance to reduce attack bar. His AoE attack, it does blind, slow, or sleep. All of these are valuable debuffs. If I had to put an order on them, sleep is better than slow, it's better than blind. There are certain bosses that can't be slept though, there are certain bosses that can't be slowed. I think they all can be blinded. Blind reduces their aim, so it'll reduce the chance of them debuffing you. You know, it's not super useful, but it is useful, you know, especially if they're on a debuff heavy team, like a Demoness. You know, blind a Demoness, you can pretty much take her out. So this causes, and now blind, slow, sleeps, or stuns. It adds on stun. So add on stun to this because of his Ascendant. So stun is a lot better than sleep because I can't be woken up. I'm really surprised that there aren't any AoE stunners in the game at all. Like, I can't think of any hero that reliably does an AoE stun. The only ones that have AoE stuns are either like a chance, like this one is a chance to do any of these 4 debuffs, or it's a condition where if they're slowed, then it stuns. It's kind of weird. You know, there's enough AoE sleep out there. Why didn't they put any AoE stuns in there? You know, especially since they have this whole initial cooldown mechanic. This guy doesn't have any initial cooldown. But you know what I'm talking about. They do have that mechanic in the game where abilities start off where you can't use them on turn 1. So why not put in an AoE stun? But sorry, I got sidetracked. How you would gear him? You gear him just like all of his brothers, all the cows, Witchstone. You want crit on him so that you can proc the Witchstone. Other than that, you want HP and defense so that they survive. Aim on the bottom 2 armor slots, you know, the ring and the boots, so that they can adequately land these debuffs without them being blocked. And it'll increase the rate at which the attack bar goes, or chance. Well, no, it's everything's 100% chance. So you're not putting aim on him to increase his chance. You're putting aim on him to counter out block. That being said, you could probably go 1 aim, 1 speed if you wanted to. Anything that's 100% chance to happen, you know, you can probably go dual aim speed if you wanted to. If you're really worried about block, then go double aim. But really, the only reason to go double aim is if you need something to have a higher % chance. Like if it says this only has a 20% chance of activating, then you would go double aim to increase that % chance. So now we have the Chaos Monk, Merciless Jing. A lot of people like him because of his AoE on his 3rd. That extends, it does an AoE attack that extends the debuff. See, this one has the initial cooldown. This is what I was talking about. But yeah, so he extends the debuffs on all enemies, which, you know, if they're stunned or slept, well, if they're slept, it'll wake them up. If they're stunned, if they're slowed, if they're dotted, or anything like that, it'll turn that, like, imagine everyone's AoE dotted. Well, you now turned all those dots into 2-turn dots. Like, that's it. You know, you can do some pretty good combos if you think about how that can interact with some of the other debuff heroes that are out there. He also has this single target attack that transforms buffs into damage over time. Really good for, you know, like Gaius, who's the fusible or craftable Nat 5. He starts off with a block buff, or a taunt buff. You can turn that into dots, you know, right there on turn 1. No more taunt, and he's got dots on his face. Pretty good. He has the same A1 and A2 as the other ones. Single target cleanse that moves them to an enemy, and steal a buff, chance to steal a buff. So I would definitely rune him, probably Witchstone with aim to make all of his utility hit harder, more effective. They won't be dispellable. You want aim on him so that it can't be blocked, and so that his A1 has a higher chance of actually occurring. Out of all of the monks, honestly, he's probably the best. So if you're debating, well, I have a bunch of monks, who should I feed them to? This is your guy. Really, his A3 and his A4 have a lot of synergy with other teams out there, with dot-based teams. Or dot-based and anti-buff teams. If there's that target that you really want to kill, he can remove the shields from him. He can remove any buffs from him, so that it frees up the rest of your team to really do what they want to do. So a lot of synergy that this guy can bring to the playing field. And then again, Witchstone is how I would gear him, which means you need the crit rate to go with it and everything. So here's the Dark Nomad, Nails. He has this really weird, in theory it's a good passive, right? Last man standing. If he's the last one alive, the rest of your team gets revived 35% life. Pretty awesome. AoE revived. 3 people get revived. But he has to be the last man standing, as the title of this ability implies. Problem is he's an attack type with really low HP and armor, especially his armor is really low. So he's kind of squishy, and he's an attack, so you build him attack? Well, if he's built attack, then he's probably going to die and not be the last man standing. So that means that you have to build him, unless you know that he's not going to take any damage, and you can't really be assured of that unless everything you're fighting is single target, you'd have to build him tanky enough that he doesn't die before everyone else. In Arena, if you're getting attacked and if he's on defense on Arena, you just kill him first. Problem solved. If you want to use him offensively on Arena, well, you better make sure he doesn't take damage, or you better build him really tanky. But if you're building him really tanky, there's so many other heroes that would have more utility in that slot. The only thing I can think of is in single element dungeons that don't do any AoE damage, he could shine. Because he won't, you could bring all, you have to bring all weak element, and why would you do that? Why would you go into a fire dungeon with all nature heroes and nails? You wouldn't, like, that's just bad strategy. So I really can't think of any scenario where his passive was really amazing. Obviously you could build him super tanky and sort of make a gimmicky team based around that, but other than that, I don't see it being super useful. If I were to build one, if I were suggesting how to build one, it would be that. It would be make him as tanky as possible so that his passive actually does something. And when you do that, the rest of his stuff, he does heal himself. So he has a self-heal and a self-cleanse and a speed bar boost, and he also has a heal on his A3 based off of how much damage he does. His A1's the same as all the other ones, a 4-shot thing. He doesn't do the what's it called that the other ones do? This thing, payback. He doesn't have revenge, so he doesn't have a revenge ability. He is really there just for his A4. That's what makes him unique. Really, what they need to do is they need to come in and make his ability scale off of HP or defense. If they did that, then he would be usable. Because then you could build him tanky, which would utilize his A4, potentially causing him to be alive when everyone else is dead, and he could actually still do some damage. As it is right now, you have to choose between, do I want him to do damage, or do I want him to be the last man standing? And he doesn't really do either of those well. He's not very tanky inherently, and he's not very pew-pewy. He doesn't do very much damage inherently. So he's many things and none of them well sort of hero. Anyways, moving along. So we have the Slate, who is the Chaos Pistolier. She has the same first and second. That some of them have roulette. All of them have split shot. That attack. Oh no. So some of them have an AoE attack, like the water windows that you get for free. Some of them have split shot that hits one additional random target. So it probably has a higher modifier to it, since it's not AoE to everyone, but it's only 2 targets. Second one is an automatic crit. It's kind of interesting. There's a few characters that have automatic crit. You should really exploit that if they have it, so you should on her. And then her third one has a chance. This is common between a few of them, where they have a chance to continue attacking. So it hits 3 times. Well, it hits 4 times, 1 and 3 more times, and then has a chance to keep going. She has this interesting passive that if she kills someone, she gets the power and haste buff. So she's self-buffing. It's pretty nice. Shooting did pretty well for a neutral element damage dealer. You know, she's not weak to anything, so she doesn't have to worry about having that, whatever the penalty is. I always laugh whenever I'm in arena. I'll have a water guy critting a green guy all day long. I laugh about it because they're weak against that element, so what, they shouldn't crit. But if you have 100% crit, it's probably like, I don't think they've released what it means to be weak against something. Like, is weak minus 15% crit chance, minus 50% crit chance? They haven't said, but it doesn't seem to be that impactful. But she doesn't have to worry about being weak to anything. How I would gear her is I would gear her Vortech, crit damage on the weapon, crit damage on the gloves, and then probably double HP or HP armor on the other 2. And then it's just speed on the 2 bottom gear pieces. And just try to exploit Roulette as much as you can, because it automatically crits. So if you have her crit multiplier out the roof with Vortech on top of that, this Roulette should hit for some ridiculous damage. Downside is it's a random enemy. You know, that can be useful, because that means it ignores taunt. So if, you know, you're fighting a Gaius that has taunt on round 1, then she doesn't care about that. She will just randomly attack someone. But if there's a certain person that you want to kill, well, too bad, you can't control it. But the fact that it guarantees crit can really come in your favor. It should be able to do a substantial amount of damage, and then she'll give herself a power buff and a haste buff on top of that when she gets that kill. That's how I would gear her. If you want to focus more on all around, like you know, so that her first and her third abilities are more useful as well, then I would try to get her at least probably 60 to 70% base crit rate. You know, that way she's critting on her A1 and her A3. The A2, you don't need any crit rate. Automatic crit. Alright, moving along. So we have the Ringtail, Hacksaw. Okay, so he has the same first one. That ignores 10% of target's armor. It does bonus damage based off of aim. It's so I think half of them have piercing round and half of them have let's see, what's it called? Loaded round. That has a chance to hit everyone. He has the piercing round one, which, in my opinion, I think it's better. I would rather, like, ignoring armor, guaranteed, is better than a chance at attacking everyone else, like a chance at an AoE. Sometimes you don't want an AoE. But, you know, this guy, 10% ignore armor, should add substantial damage. And it does damage off of his aim, too, which is pretty useful considering the rest of his stuff you want aim for. Like this one, reduces the attack bar, right? And if he's stealth, it does it by 100%. So you want aim so that the chance is increased to 100%. If you have aim, it doesn't matter if this is 100% or if he's stealth or not. It'll probably be a 100% chance of happening. Bushwhack, you know, 50% chance to stun. If he's stealth, it's a 100% chance. And the stun is 2 turns. Again, if he has aim, then you don't have to really worry about being stealth. He has Scout Swiftness that it makes, I think it's Bushwhack. Which one is it? I don't see any ability. Whenever you, any skill. That's why. So whenever he uses any skill, he has a 50% chance of stealthing himself. And he gets a power buff whenever he goes into stealth. So I'm not sure if this gets increased with aim. I don't think it does. I would go aim on him anyways because of you know, his A1 increasing with aim. But really, you know, I would go by aim I mean the bottom 2 slots of your gear, so the ring and the boots. I would go Witchstone as your main set. Even though, you know, you could go just leather-based sets. I would prefer Witchstone so that the 100 or 70% speed bar reduction is actually more like 100%. And, you know, his stun is undispellable, so they can't remove the stun if they have a cleanser on their team. You know, since he only has a 50% chance to stealth, really, you know, you want AIM to increase these chances. That way you don't have to rely so heavily on his stealth. Him having this passive is good, obviously, because he gets the power buff as well, but you shouldn't rely on it happening. Since he's element neutral, he has a chance of getting targeted if you don't have a weak element tank on your team, like a nature guy against a water team. If you ran like all water against a water team, he would have an equal chance of getting attacked. If you ran all fire against a water team, they would all attack this guy. So that's what it means to be neutral to everyone. So stealth would help with that, so that it would mitigate his being targeted. But yeah, I would definitely run him Witchstone, get crit rate on him, probably throw some crit damage on him, and then do Witchstone with, well, I already said that, double HP on his helmet and chest piece. Alright, so now we have the Ranger, Raven, the Dark Ranger. She has a stealth thing too, so it always crits if it's done from stealth. The funny thing is she has this ability. I think it might be a glitch. Whenever you look at her, I have one. I won't break out of this to show you, but I have one. She has this ability even when she's not ascended. So the ability shows up, and then it says Shadow Shot Ascended, literally the same exact thing as what's already on her. So I'm not sure if this isn't supposed to be here until you ascend her. Here, let's see. So if we show base, yeah, see? Like, am I missing something? Like, I'm probably missing something, because it looks like it has some more text to it. It's just really, the text gets cut off whenever you're looking at her in the hero select screen. Oh, okay, so I think this is where it is. So, one turn duration, stealth yourself. So this makes her stealth herself. I think the base doesn't make her stealth herself. Yeah. So when you ascend her, this skill guarantees makes herself stealth. So her A3 is how she gets stealth, and then her A4 makes use of it. The stealth continues if she's ascended. It breaks out of stealth if she's not ascended. But she does, 4 dots is, decent amount of dots. It always crits if she uses from stealth. You should always use this when she's stealth. I don't know if it does that whenever you're on autoplay. So, hopefully the AI, I haven't used mine at all. She's in storage. But this ability, this A4 on auto, should only activate if she's stealth. Because if she's not stealth, then her utility drops down significantly. I would run her probably, instead of Vortec as like a dot and burst damage dealer, I would run her, and because it's guaranteed crit, makes you think Vortec, but because she also has the mark, she would probably benefit more from Witchstone, so that the mark gets amplified, and the dots and the slow gets amplified as well. So I would do Witchstone, do crit rate, crit damage, crit rate on the weapon, crit damage on the gloves, and then double HP on the helmet, boots. Go aim on the bottom 2 things. You could probably, since none of it is a chance to happen, you could probably go 1 aim, 1 speed on her. What's Z saying over here? XZ Great. Yes, aim does affect the chance of like a debuff happening. So if we look at, let's see if this one has one. So yeah, so this is a 50% chance to reduce the target speed. The more aim he has, the higher that chance goes up. So it can be mitigated by the opponent's block rating. But yeah, aim does increase that. Now, does it increase the chance of his own things happening? Like, would aim increase the chance of him stealthing from his passive? That I'm not 100% sure. And that's the thing. I'm not sure if it activates on buffs. I know 100% it activates on debuffs. But it would be nice to have one of the devs comment to say whether or not that actually applies to buffs as well as debuffs. You know, I know that they straight out said it applies to buffs or debuffs, but does it apply to the heroes? You know, like his A4, for example. I don't know. I would hope it does. I want to say it does, because just the base mechanics of the game, you know, if aim increases the chance of something happening, why wouldn't it work for buffs as well? So I would, you know, if I had to choose one, that's the one I would go with. But I can't, you know, I haven't seen it confirmed by a dev, and I haven't done enough testing myself to say that it works. You know, I would have confirmation bias on it, you know. Yes, autos, so just because he's asking me about this, let's look at auto real fast. So if we look at auto skills, so his A3, he has a 50% chance to provoke. Since provoke is a debuff that it puts on the enemy, and this is a chance of it happening, I know that aim increases the odds of that provoke happening. I can say 100% sure that it does increase those chances because it is a debuff. But you know, and if you think about it logically, a 50% chance of something happening, right? And aim increases that. So if it's a 50% chance of, you know, a positive thing happening, like a buff, then why wouldn't aim increase that? Yeah, I think it would, and that's what makes me think that it does. Aim does increase the chance of a buff occurring as well. But I have yet to hear a dev say those words. So, you know, don't quote me on that, you know. that's how I play the game, assuming that aim would help that. But yeah, it would be nice to have the dev weigh in, a dev weigh in on that and say that it does increase the chance of a buff occurring, such as these stealth buffs that some of these chaos heroes have. But anyway, so here's another good example for aim and you know, Witchstone going well together is, well, really you can either go Witchstone or Swift Steel on him. All the what are they called, Sabertooths are like that. Night Stalker, debatable. I would say it's a sort of a tie between him and the Order one as far as which one's the best. The Dark one, he can stealth himself via his ability. So, oh wait, no, he doesn't. He has the same hide from danger. So when he takes damage, he has a chance to stealth. I do know, or again, this is sort of confirmational bias. So the light one has the same one, right? He has a chance to hide. I have aim on mine, and I noticed the more aim I put on him, he seemed like he stealthed more often, which makes me think that aim does affect this. You know, once you scale him up, it's 50-50 chance. I think aim does affect this, which means it would affect those other things that we were talking about as well. So you want to go aim on him on his bottom two slots. You would either go Witchstone on him if you wanted these dots to do more damage, or you would go Iron Claw, or not Iron Claw, Swift Steel on him to have him take extra A1s to do more dots. I prefer Swift Steel because you don't have to worry about crit rate. You know, I don't care if mine crits or not. I just want him to land more dots. But if you had good enough gear laying around, having those dots do 50% more damage is pretty useful. He also has this extra haste on his A2. So the more haste he has, you know, the more he can go and use those dot abilities. So since he has a built-in haste instead of a built-in what is it? It's a mark, I'm pretty sure this one has. Yeah, 50% chance to mark. Since he has a built-in haste, he might be a better candidate for Witchstone, since he is going to be having more turns. But if you already have a haste buffer on your team, then I'm an advocate for Swift Steel. But, you know, you talk to Rychart, and he'll be an advocate for Witchstone on Sabertooth. So, it really, both of them are good choices. You know, you can't go wrong. Just remember, if you do go Witchstone, you got to get the crit rate up so that you actually take advantage of it. If you don't crit, Witchstone is completely useless. Alright, moving on. So we have the Dark Shield Maiden, Jocelyn. Oh, you know, I need to show Ascension. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything on his Ascension. I did. This is the one thing that makes him actually a contender for the light one, why the light one isn't supremely better than him is because he has an instant self-revive. If he dies, he comes back to life, 9% of his HP, and he goes immediately into stealth with 3 heal over time. So he'll get 15% of his life back over the duration of those 3 heal over times. You know, I've done some dungeons. A few weeks ago, I did a stream where I actually did some dungeons, and a few times my light Sabretooth died just to AoE damage. You know, you don't have to worry about the Dark One dying. Or you do, but when he does, he comes back to life. And, you know, as long as he stays alive for another 6 turns, he can just keep coming back to life. This is, you know, it's very useful for the type of dot damage dealer that you want to have. Because that means you can run him at 5-star, and he can be just as effective as being at 6-star. Because really, the only thing you gain from 6-starring a Sabretooth, because how you want to use them is you want to use them as beefy dotters, right? That's what they're there for. They're there to do dots, not to do a lot of power-based damage. So you can put lots of HP and stuff on them. So the only thing you gain from 5-starring them, really, is extra survivability. Since, you know, the Dark One has 9 lives, he has some of that extra survivability built into him. So, yeah, that's what makes him a really serious contender for the best Sabretooth. You know, I would say it's between him and Sunslash, even though Sunslash has been pissing me off because he has this AoE, and if people have counterattack, they counterattack him when he does this AoE. He gets himself killed. Night Stalker has no AoE. That's, honestly, he has no, you know, no mark debuff, but he's going to be better at staying alive than the light one, or the order one is. Alright, anyways, so back to talking about Jocelyn. We looked at her and then immediately went back to talking about Kitty Cats. So she has the same, or similar A1 to the other ones. Hers has the heal block. So the fire one, whenever we talked about the fire heroes, I talked about the fire one being really good because she has a heal block on her A1. Dark one also has that, so she's really good for that. She has the same taunt with the counterattack. Whenever she uses her taunt, she gets a shield. Or no. Her passive is whenever she's attacked, she has a chance to get a shield based off of her, or 10% of her HP. And it scales with block. So it's very similar to Otto, where his passive scales with how much block he has. So, you know, obviously, you want as much block on her as possible on those bottom 2 slots. And maybe even run her, you know, all bright. There's a few ways you can gear her. Let's go over the rest of this, her A3 first. So she has an AoE heal, but it also gives them damage over time. So, you know, 30% heal is a significant heal, but that's why it's like, oh, but they lose half of that healing. You know, 3 dots is 15% of their life. So it's basically taking away 15% of their life after giving them 30%. Run her with a cleanser, and who cares? Like, you know, a Nat or any of the spell weavers, this would actually boost their attack bar because they have that passive that they get attack bar whenever people get debuffed on your team. And then they can cleanse it off and turn it into heal every time. So you pair her with the right people, and Chaos Mend is actually a really, really powerful heal. But, so you could run her where, you know, you want her to be a heal blocker, like in the Life Silk dungeon, for example. Or you could run her where you want her to be a really annoying tank. You want her to taunt, and you want her to get shields. So if you want her to be a heal blocker, she needs aim, so that this heal block goes up to more like 100% chance of happening, and that it doesn't get blocked. If you want her to be a super tank, then you want block on those bottom 2 slots. Either way, I would probably go Iron Claw on her to give her more revenge, even though she has a built-in counterattack. And, you know, having more counterattack is never a bad thing, and she's an annoying enough kit. Her abilities are so annoying that people are probably going to want to target her anyways. So putting Iron Claw on her can be super helpful, and it's going to increase the heal block you do from her A1. So really, you know, crit rate, HP armor, and then either aim for heal blocking or block for her passive. You know, another thing you could do with her is instead of going Iron Claw, if you didn't really care about the revenge, because she has built-in revenge, you know, so I could argue you don't really need Iron Claw on her, you could go all Bright Shield to get her some extra block, and then put aim on her boots and ring, or you could swap it and put the leather sets on her to give her the extra aim, and then go block on the bottom 2 pieces of gear for her passive. That would be a very viable strategy for gearing her as well. It's really up to you and how you want to use her and how she best fits into her team. If I were to use her, I would probably go the Void Leather with block, because you get more stats from the ring and the glove and the boots once you start getting 4, 5, and 6-star gear than you do from the 2 set pieces. So I would say, like, I want her high block to be super annoying, and then I'll throw on some like Void Leather gear to get her aim a little bit higher so that she also does do the heal block occasionally. I wouldn't rely on it. Like, I wouldn't bring her into Life Silk as my only heal blocker and say, with just Void gear, she's gonna, be able to heal block reliably. But, it would be enough that you could actually, it would be annoying and it would help out. Alright, now we have the Chaos Freeblade. I actually have one of these 5-starred. They do really good damage, and they're, elemental neutral, so they're not weak against anything. So he has this, on his A2, all of them have something based off their A2. They all have the same A1 and A2 with an ascended ability based off it, and AoE A3. His A2, if he kills a target, everyone gets a power buff, and he gets another turn. And he hits pretty hard, so if you finish someone off with him, he immediately gets to go again. His A3 is an AoE heal block that does really good damage, and it has no cooldown once you skill him up. So if you need a chaos damage dealer and you don't have, a Nat 4 chaos damage dealer, he's probably the best target for a strict damage dealer. That being said, how would you gear him? Vortec with crit rate, HP crit damage. That's how you would gear all standard attack heroes that are just there to do as much damage as possible. They don't have anything gimmicky based off of other stuff. And he doesn't have anything gimmicky. He's just there to do as much damage as possible. I say HP because he needs to live. If you know he can live, then you can swap out the helmet for power. But he's element neutral, so he's susceptible to neutral element attacks and for AoE attacks. So that's why I say double HP. Give him some survivability. If he's dead DPS, do 0 DPS. Alright, now we have the Dark Oath Bow. If you are lucky enough to grab one of these, congratulations. Probably the 2nd best, or maybe 3rd best. If you include even Nat 5s, he is in the top 5 best damage dealers, probably in the game, due to him being elemental neutral. So his passive, all of his damage is based off his speed. So he gets bonus, or all of his damage is increased based off his speed. He gives himself a crit multiplier buff, which is pretty good, 50%, pretty significant extra damage, or 50% chance, but it goes up to 60%. So he has the same A2 as Anchor, who's the fire one, where he does, an attack hits 3 times, and if he has a higher speed, then he gets 50% speed bar. This is huge because typically he's going to go first, because his base speed is going to be so high because you want as much speed in him as possible. So he's going to go first, use Arrow Storm, get 50% speed bar, and typically go again before the other team does. His AoE is an AoE slow, and if he crits, which he should crit because he's a damage dealer, you want to build a crit rate on him, he hastes your entire team, which is going to further increase his damage. So not only does this do a lot of damage, all the not Chaos Blades, Oath Bows, all the Oath Bows AoE abilities hit pretty hard. They have really good modifiers. But on top of that, he then buffs himself by giving himself a haste buff, assuming he crits. It's funny. It says if you crit, I'm assuming that means you only have to crit on at least 1 target. So you hit 4 targets, you're probably going to crit at least 1 of them. So he's going to get a haste buff off of this, or your whole team's going to get a haste buff. He does ridiculous damage, ridiculous speed, build him Vortec, crit rate, HP, crit damage, and double speed. Put as much speed on him as possible. So you want, speed on not only those 2 slots, but you want speed sockets as well. So you can put some speed jewels on there. give him your best speed jewels. The only reason you would give someone else better speed jewels is if you wanted the Alpha Strike team, you had it rely around an attack bar buffer. Someone that boosts the attack bar of your whole team. If you're not relying on that, this guy gets your best speed gear. Alright, so now we have the Dark Barbarian, Marn. I have never actually seen him other than, like, you know, random Poda stuff. But so he has a chance to remove a buff when he uses Axe Break, which is his A1. So he can actually, you know, strip buffs with his default attack. He goes Berserk on his A2, and his A3. It removes any armor buffs. So and he armor breaks. So he's really good against. He's like a tank killer, you know. So a lot of people use the War Mechs or the Paladins for their tanks, and both the War Mechs and the Paladins are based off of armor. Their damage scales off of armor. Their class Architect is based off of armor, so he's sort of a counter for that. That's what Shield Breaker is there for. That being said, you know, he goes Berserk. You can't control them when they're Berserk. He also has this, you know, if they have armor break, he ignores 50% of their remaining armor. So it's basically like a 75% armor reduction. So he really is a tank killer. That's what he's there for. You know, and he strips other buffs from them, so he can strip taunt from them as well as armor break and armor buff. You know, he's gonna wreck their tanks, and you know, even though he has Berserk that you can't control him, if they're taunting, then he's in Berserk mode gonna attack them anyways, which is what you want. So yeah, you build him Wartech with crit rate, you know, standard attack stuff. Wartech, crit rate, double HP crit damage. You know, there's really no reason to go block on him, so you would either go aim to, you know, avoid their block, because it doesn't say this can't be blocked, right? So if he's a tank killer, the tank's going to have a lot of block, you know, unless they're running some weird comp. So you probably want aim on him to counteract that block, so you're guaranteed to strip their buffs, and you're guaranteed to armor break them. You could go speed on him if you wanted to, but I would focus on aim, so that you're guaranteed not to get blocked. So that, you know, he's designed to be a tank killer. Why not make him a guaranteed tank killer by giving him aim to counter the block? Alright, so now we have Rictus, the Magitech Bard. All of these guys are awesome. There isn't a bad Magitech Bard. This guy has a ridiculous passive here. He has to be the leader for it to be active. But when anyone on your team is hit by a crit, it increases their speed bar by 10%. So, you know, your tank gets crit, 10% extra speed bar. He also has a single target reset cooldowns instead of a, like, so there's the light mechanic that we talked about last week. She has a very similar thing. The difference is he gets an extra turn afterwards. So this is a 5-turn cooldown, but he gets an extra turn, so it immediately drops down to 4 turns. And AoE, or not AoE, single target reset on a 4-turn cooldown is pretty strong. He has the same heal that the other ones have, and his A1 haste a random ally. I would probably gear him, you know, he's a tough one. You know, Wartech would increase the utility. It would increase his haste buff, and it would increase his Life is Pain passive. So it's probably a pretty good, you know, it doesn't benefit his A3, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't benefit his A2. But there's really, yeah, I mean, it would either be between Wartech for extra utility or Life Silk for extra healing from his A2. There's really no reason to go Swift Steel or Iron Claw unless you just wanted more chance at his A1 haste buff. But typically, you know, there's AoE haste buffers out there, so you're not relying on him for a haste buff. You're relying on him for Encore, for his passive, and for his heal. So really, you know, if you want his passive to be better, Witchstone. If you want his healing to be better, then Life Silk. Encore is good on its own. No set is going to affect how Encore works. And obviously you'd build him with crit rate, as much HP defense as possible to make him increase his survivability. And then, you know, you can either put block or speed on his bottom two gear sets. If you put crit damage on him, it'll increase the amount of healing output he does. But honestly, I'd probably opt for, you know, better survivability over extra healing. So I'd probably use the gloves to go at HP or armor as well. Alright, now we have the Dark Battle Mage, Alistair. So he has a chance to mark with, I'm pretty sure it's his default skill. Yeah, so his default skill, 30% chance to mark, 25% chance of immediately attacking again. So he can like hit one person and then have a chance to hit someone else. Pretty cool since he's an attack-based hero that does pretty decent damage. His A2 is a 2-turn attack, and then if he crits, then he gets a power and disenchants the target. So he gains a power buff, but he disenchants the enemy. And disenchant, what it does is it disables any passives. So if they have an annoying passive, hit them with their A2. As long as you crit them, it'll disenchant them and their passive goes away. Pretty cool for guys like Otto that sit there and heal whenever you hit them. You know, that's his passive. You can disable that with this disenchant. And then he has an AoE attack that does it does 2 of one of the following debuffs, right? Weirdly worded, but it can either stun, sleep, power break, armor break, or heal block. Right, so you got 5 different things to pick from, right? No, 6 different things to pick from. It'll do 2 of them, so it's a little bit of an upgrade on the Alchemist that we talked about. You know, the very first 3-star we talked about. It's still RNG as far as which ones get applied, but at least it's 2 and not just 1. That being said, if you look at his kit, it's all based off of buffs, debuffs. He's a very good candidate for Witchstone, especially since this, you know, if you crit, well, Witchstone needs to crit to activate anyway, so get his crit rate up, get some Witchstone on him, and then you don't have to worry about this not critting. I would also use aim on his boots and his ring because, you know, you need aim to counter block and you need aim to increase the chance of the mark landing. And it would also increase, well, we don't know if it would increase this 25% chance of attacking again. I think it would, but we have to wait for a dev to comment on that and say, yes, you know, abilities like this that have no buff debuff associated with them, it's just a chance of something happening. Does that chance of something happening increase with aim? Either way, I would go aim on him anyways. An alternate build for him, if you wanted an AoE damage dealer, because his third attack is AoE, you could go Vortech, you know, and do some super crits. I would probably go more of the Witchstone route, but you could if you wanted to. Alright, so now we have Kiba, the Beetle Lancer, right? So he's even a better off-color tank for order content than you know, the Stone Giant is that we talked about earlier. He doesn't have a taunt or anything, but he has a lot of utility that he provides the team, and a lot of utility that he provides in debuffing the enemy team. So he has a slow on his A1, AoE armor break, which is pretty huge. There's heroes out there that ignore armor completely if their armor broken. This is the perfect guy to pair with him. He gives all people on your team an armor buff and a reflect buff, and he reflects 30% of incoming damage always. So he's going to be really good in later stages of Path of the Ancients, whenever people are doing ridiculous damage to you. Reflect damage is really good if you're taking lots of damage. And then he does, you know, the reflect buff on everyone. How I would gear him, you want as much HP and armor on him as possible just to make him tanky. He's not there to do damage. He's there to be beefy and to give support. So as much HP and armor as possible. And then I would probably, I mean, Witchstone is a good set for him because he has so many buffs and debuffs. You know, armor break would become more effective, slow would become more effective, and these buffs would become more effective. And reflect would reflect more damage. So Witchstone is a really good set for him. That being said, you need crit rate, obviously, to make the Witchstone activate. Should you go block on him or should you go aim? I would probably go aim. You know, if you were using him as an off-color tank against stuff that did a lot of debuffs, maybe you would switch up and go one aim, one block. Other than that, I would just go double aim on him to really, make sure that those debuffs are landing. You want this AoE armor break to hit. You want this slow to hit. Alright, moving on. We have Zukov, straight from Russia. The Chaos Rust Marine. He has a passive that whenever an ally dies, he goes to full health and gets invincibility for 1 turn, right? So, I mean, it's like a better version of the last one standing, but it is sort of a selfish version of it. He has the same A1, chance to get a crit buff, damage based off of armor. He has Inspire, which does an AoE attack bar boost and an AoE power buff. And he has, I think it's just single target. Yeah, so he does a single target provoke, but it's a guaranteed. It's not a chance to provoke. So single target, guaranteed provoke for 2 turns, which is pretty decent. Yeah, all the other provokes are only 1 turn. Like Otto's provoke is only 1 turn, for example. But it's AoE and a chance to happen. But he has this extra thing that if he crits, he immediately takes another turn. So that's pretty sweet. So I would definitely put some crit rate on him, which, why would you not put crit rate on any of the Rust Marines? But, you could run him and since his abilities scale off of armor, you could run him as a bruiser where you go crit rate, armor, crit damage. And you could do like War Tech on him so that he actually hits really hard. People would not expect that. And since he's element neutral, he, wouldn't be taking that much damage. But he can put out some damage. I mean, everyone knows Otto can put out some damage. Imagine an Otto on War Tech that also has, an invincibility buff and fully heals whenever anyone on the team dies. That's really strong for arena-based content. You'd have to kill him first, and as an armor-based hero, unless you have one of those, one of the Dark Barbarians, the Chaos Barbarians, he's going to be really strong. Chaos Barbarian would wreck this guy. He'd wreck any of the Rust Marines, to be honest, though. But that's how I would gear him. Alternatively, you could just gear him, a Ironclaw counterattack build, and still go like 1 HP double armor. No matter what you want crit rate on him. But yeah, you could definitely build him just like Otto, which Otto, I recommended Ironclaw, which is a counterattack, and double armor, single HP on him. So you can do that with this guy as well. Would you want aim, block, blah, blah, blah? Yeah, Otto obviously is block. With this guy, you could go aim so that you have less of a chance of things getting blocked. Like it's only his provoke is the only thing that has a chance to get blocked. So honestly, I would go maybe double block or single block, single aim. I don't think you'd really have to worry too much about this getting blocked. But if you really wanted to rely on provoke, and that's why you had him on your team, then you would need to make sure you get aim so that provoke is guaranteed. I would probably just make him tanky. I would just make, go block on him to increase his survivability. Another alternative build you could do would be a attack bar buffer build. So you would want Witchstone on him, and you would use him kind of like you used the Fire one, where you really are using him for his Inspire ability. You want speed, so that he goes first, and then he buffs the entire team, gives them power buff, and now your Alpha Strike team goes. That would be another alternative way, the Witchstone. Anyways, moving on, so we have the Dark Mechanic Curry. Jump straight to her automatic effects. This is what makes her unique. If she's above 50% HP, when she uses a skill, all allies get 5% of their... Wait, I don't think this is unique. I think the Fire one has this. Yeah, so she has the same passive as the Fire one, which means you want her to be probably Swift Steal, so that she's taking more turns, using more skills. Even if she's not being attacked, she'll use more A1s, which will proc her passive more. She has Drone Overload, which does an AoE attack, reduces the duration of buffs by 1 turn, increases their skill. So, you know, she, instead of helping out allies, she more messes with the other team. She still has the evasion crit resist buff, which is huge. But she also reduces the cooldowns of enemies by 1 turn. So you definitely want aim on her so that this stuff doesn't get resisted. You could. So I was saying, you could go Swift Steal on her, right? That way her passive gets procced more often. An alternative route would be to go Witchstone on her, so that whenever her passive does proc, it doesn't happen as often, but when it does happen, you're guaranteed once per turn, it would be a 7.5% speed bar boost for everyone. But Witchstone would also increase her A2 evasion and crit resist buff. So really, if you want to make her buffs more beneficial, go Witchstone. If you want to make her passive happen more often, then go Swift Steal. It's up to you which one. I can see the argument for Witchstone being better. But really, it's depending on how you want to use her. And then she has a slow on her A1. So again, Witchstone would help with the slow. Would make the slow more effective. Swift Steal would basically increase the chance of you slowing because you double attack the same target. But yeah, so Witchstone or Swift Steal, depending on if you want to make more use of her passive or make the passive plus the other abilities more useful. So now we have the Dark Paladin, Mordred. He has the same first and second. Everything's based off of armor, so you're going to ruin him crit rate, armor, HP or crit damage, depending on if you want him to be a bruiser or a tank. And then probably double block. But he has Spite, so he gets a Death Shield for 3 turns, which goes down to 2 turns immediately because he takes another turn. But a tank with Death Shield is pretty useful. Not quite as useful as maybe Gwaine, who has Invincibility, but still, either way, you can't die. A tank that can't die is good. You don't want your tank to die. But he also has his passive that when he's taunting, whenever he gets attacked, the attacker takes damage over time. So he's great for bosses. Bosses hit him and then they get a dot put on him, and dots is really how you take down a lot of the bosses. So he just adds extra, utility there. As far as what set you want to use, you can either make him as tanky as possible by putting extra bone or the 2-piece armor set on him. I forget what they're called. They're steel. I think they're called something steel sets. But yeah, so you can either increase his base stats of HP and armor, or if you wanted to put a 4 set on him, Iron Claw is really the only one that makes sense. Any guys that have taunt are good with Iron Claw because they're going to be getting attacked more. As they get attacked more, they're going to counterattack more. So Iron Claw makes sense. So that would be the only 4 set that really has a significant usefulness. Or you could do Witchstone. If you did Witchstone, the dots would be extra damage. Honestly, I think Witchstone would be limiting his potential. It would kind of be cornering him into a dotting type of class when that's not really what he's there for. His passive helps, but he's not there to be a dotter. That's just a bonus. He's there to be a tank. So you want to put gear on him that's going to help him tank more, not help him dot more. So you could do it, but I wouldn't do it. Maybe if you had all 6-star Witchstone gear and you just wanted to show off, sure, knock yourself out. But for those of us who don't have that sort of gear, yeah, increase his survivability or run Iron Claw. Alright, now we have the Dark Pirate Jaquette, straight from the hood. I talked about her a little bit last week. She's got the same A1. She has the bomb. She has single target, 3-turn armor break, or hits 3 times, chance to armor break. An AoE dot for 4 turns, 4-turn dot, 20%, pretty huge. And then she has sort of a cleanse. Every time she takes an action. Whenever I talked about her last week, I mentioned that there's really 2 ways you can gear her, or 2 sets. I see going Witchstone Witchstone would obviously increase not only her bomb, but make her bomb stun. It would make the armor break more efficient, and it would make this damage over time instead of... It would basically turn it into the damage of a 6-turn damage over time. Because, 50% for 4 turns, 50% of 4 turns is 2. Math. So, it would do 50% extra damage over time. But yeah, so Witchstone would definitely increase damage, increase utility, but it doesn't do anything to her passive. If you wanted to make her more of a cleanser, then you could go Swift Steal on her so that she takes more actions and does more bomb cleansing. I can't really think, there's only a few situations where you would really need that. If you're running the Titan, it was Titan something, Titan Guard, that's it. I want to say Titan Forge, but that's WoW, different game. The Titan Guard dungeon is the one where the boss puts bombs on you. If you ran her as your only cleanser, Swift Steal would help you. But why would you do that? Why not bring in that or any of the Spellbinders or any of the other cleansers that are out there? So that being said, her bomb removal is just sort of an extra little perk. Her main kit revolves around her A1, A2, and A3, so Witchstone is substantially better in that sense. So obviously she's crit rate. You would probably go crit damage, but you could go crit damage to make her A2, A3 hit harder, or power to make her bomb hit harder. Up to you which one you want to go with. But definitely Witchstone with the crit rate, and probably HP to make her not get AoE destroyed. Alright, we have the Dark Demoness. Like all the Demonesses, a lot of debuffs. What's her name? Her name is Lilith. She has a lot of debuffs and stuff. She has this extra passive that, all allies deal 15% bonus damage when on your team. Is there going to be a new mechanic where your allies aren't going to be on your team? Like a mind control thing? That would be kind of cool. They should add that in. I guess that's kind of what Confuse is. Is Confuse, if you're confused or you're not counted as being on the team? Or does this just say plus 15% team damage? That's basically what this is. But, everyone on your team, 15% extra damage. Yay, right? She has single target Confuse. This that does extra damage based off of the amount of debuffs. And she has an AoE strip. This is why I think she's good, is because she has an AoE cleanse. It removes all buffs from all enemies. I'm pretty sure she's the only hero that has that. That completely removes everything. I know there's some other ones that cleanse on cleanse 2 or turn 1 into a bomb, do some stuff like that. She just says everything, all buffs go away. Super useful. That being said, so you'd probably run AIM to make sure that these debuffs and stuff land. All the other Demonesses really shine from Witchstone because, Witchstone, they have extra debuff utility. She only has one debuff, Confuse, and that's it. So, and Confuse doesn't get amplified if she has Witchstone. It only gets undispellable. So with her, I could see running more of a damage build on her where you run Vortech, and you get that crit rate and that crit damage on there, and you use her as a surprise nuker. And paired, her on Witchstone paired with someone else doing debuffs can be a pretty strong combination since her A1 scales off the debuffs. That's how I would gear her. She's different from her sisters in that sense. I think Vortech is better on her than Witchstone, whereas most of her sisters are the other way around. Moving on, so we have the Dark Valkyrie, Lady Svala. She has this extra Ascended Guard that she gets a power buff and a crit buff when she guards. Since it has counterattack, you're like, oh, okay, cool, she can actually do some decent damage while she's counterattacking the guarded ally. Too bad Guard doesn't work like the new thing does. The new Nomad ability. I just drew a blank. What is that ability called that they have? Let's look real fast. Where are you, Nomad? This one doesn't even have it. So yeah, Revenge I think is a better version of Guard. Revenge doesn't prevent damage like Guard does. So Guard prevents damage and Revenge doesn't. But Revenge activates every time they take damage. Which means if they take dot damage, it activates. If they take damage from like a Bright Shield reflect or Bright Shield, effect, then that activates. If you have Reflect on your team and one of their guys has Revenge and attacks you and you Reflect, that activates Revenge. Anytime they take any damage, Revenge gets activated. But this only gets activated when that ally gets targeted. If this got activated every time that ally were to take damage, now you're talking. Now Guard is actually a pretty useful ability. Make that change, and Valkyries would suddenly jump up a few tiers on the tier list that doesn't exist. No one's made a tier list yet. But all the Valkyries are not going to be high on a tier list if they were to make one. If Guard activated on the same way that Revenge activated, then they would be higher up on that tier list. I guarantee it. But this one actually has a Death Shield and a heal over time that it gives to an ally. So it's harder to exploit this Valkyrie like you could the other ones. When reviewing some of the other ones, I told you the way you deal with a Valkyrie is you target someone you don't want to kill, they guard that target, and then you just kill the person you wanted to kill in the beginning. If you do that with the Dark one, well, she's going to guard the one that you faked, attacking, and then she's going to put Death Shield on the one you're actually trying to kill. So she basically protects two people, so she's a lot more annoying than her sisters are. There's no reason to gear her armor or HP. Like, none of them shine higher than the others, so you can do like double HP, single armor, or double armor, single HP. You want her to be tanky. You could honestly, an interesting build for her would be like a War Tech, because she has built-in counterattack, and she has this built-in power crit buff. So you could throw War Tech on her, crit rate with some crit damage, and people probably aren't going to target her right away. Granted, she's going to have that block, so she's going to take damage. But she can actually put out some decent counterattack damage. I wouldn't do that until you're late game and have really good base gear that you can, do. Also increase her survivability. Because if she just dies, then you're going to be like, oh, well, that was gimmicky and the gimmick failed. But late game, you can definitely do some cool stuff like that with her. Early to mid game, just make her tanky, make her live so that she's death shielding and guarding people. Alright, moving on. What set you put on her? In any set, she doesn't benefit from, well, not any set. Don't put Witchstone on her because she doesn't benefit from that at all. I mean, maybe it would increase her heal over, it would increase her heal over time, but, and it would make these things dispellable. So she would get usefulness from it, but not enough to really justify it, I don't think. But yeah, I would go either just extra armor, extra HP, or if you wanted to, you could go, Swift Steel doesn't benefit her, Iron Claw doesn't benefit her, because she's not really getting targeted, and when she is getting targeted, she already has counterattack. So yeah, just increase her HP and increase her armor. Unless you wanted to go the crazy War Tech build, which really would be an interesting thing to do, but don't do that early game, because she's just going to die. Alright, so now we have the Dark Spellbinder, Selene. Selene has an AoE Berserk, so it's kind of cool. She AoE Berserks everyone, gives them a haste and attack buff, so haste buff helps them go sooner. And then whenever they do go, you have no control over them. But Berserk is a pretty decent buff as far as, increases, I think, your power, your armor, and your HP by 50%. So, yeah, she has the same Purify, and her A1 does a random block buff. She has the same leader skill as the water one. So put her in your leader slot, and all your allies start off with 25% of her max HP shield. It's pretty huge. That being said, that's how you gear her. Exploit this. Stack as much HP as possible on her, make her your leader, and she is your cleanser. Every round, or not every round, but every stage or every start of each fight, everyone starts off with a 3-turn, pretty hefty shield if her HP is high enough. And she gives some pretty cool buffs and stuff. And she does cleansing. So pretty cool here. I think I would rather have her than my Eos that I have. Even though Eos, maybe one day she'll be good for me. She's not good for me right now. But yeah, Selena is a very good hero, a very good cleanser because she provides the extra survivability as well as some extra support with this skill here. Alright, so now we're into the Nat 5 category. So we have the Dark Assassin, Yuri, right? So she has this leader skill that she does 10% damage, more damage, and 20% less damage taken when she's stealth. Cool. She gives herself the crit rate and crit multiplier. Cool. She stealths herself and gets another turn. Well, she needs to stealth for this, right? And then she does triple damage if the enemy is below 25% HP. I haven't seen any of these in practice. Like, I don't really see them in arena, and I mean, I didn't really pay too much attention in the last hero event. I know I couldn't do above like stage 3 or 4, but I thought it was more because of the stupid war mechs that they put on the final stage of that. But anyways, assuming her modifiers are good, she would be a very good version of the Assassins because of all the self buffs she has. You know, she's going to be stealthing herself on turn 1. She gets an extra turn immediately, so she's going to have this bonus damage, and then she's going to have this rolling crit rate, crit multiplier buff going along with it. So, you know, throw Vortec on her, do the same. You know, because of the stealth mechanic, you could get away with doing power on the helmet instead of HP. She might not need that extra survivability. Obviously, play with it if she's getting, you know, destroyed by AoE damage, because stealth still gets hit by AoE. Then, you know, switch that power up for HP. But because she has 20% damage reduction when she's stealth, that might be enough that you could run crit rate, power, HP, crit damage, and then just double speed. She doesn't do any effects, so she doesn't really need aim. You know, she doesn't need block because she's not there to take damage. She's a damage dealer, not a damage taker. So put speed on her, why not? But yeah, Dark one looks really cool. Now we have the Dark Dragon, War Dragon, Tiamat. Is that how you say it? Tiamat, Tiamat, maybe? Not quite sure. Either way, Dark Dragon. So Dark Dragon has the same A1, A2, single target, based off their max HP. Anything that's based off of max HP is huge. A3 is an AoE attack with a confuse, right? And a 50% chance to confuse him for 2 turns. That's awesome, right? 2-turn confuse on AoE. That's sick. And then the passive is whenever, you know, a target's buffed, then you get 5% of your max HP. So it's extra, you know, nothing really exploit worthy. Like, you wouldn't build a team around this passive. There's no way to really prevent that or to try to do that. But it's just getting some extra passive HP regen that the Dark one has built into it. You know, some of the other ones I said Vortec is, or not Vortec, but Witchstone is the way to go because they have a lot of debuff utility to them. This one doesn't really have much debuff utility. It more has damage utility. It does have the confuse, but really with the based off of max HP damage, you want to crit first of all, and you want to do as much damage as possible. So definitely go Vortec on this one. Vortec, crit rate, double HP crit damage, and there's no reason not to go double speed on this one as well. Again, you know, you could put some aim on it. Aim would increase the chance of a 2-turn instead of a 1-turn confuse, which would be in arena. Aim would be useful down there on those bottom 2 gear slots, but for all-around uses, I would probably just go speed so that, you know, he's getting more turns, getting to go faster. You can split it up and go 1 aim, 1 speed. Why not? But yeah. This is a damage dealer, not a debuffer, like some of the other dragons. Alright, so now we have the Drakenmage Set. He has the same mana bomb, so this is an ability that scales off of power, and only power, and it removes a buff and replaces it with an additional bomb. He has this interesting requital. It's kind of like what the monks have, where it transfers debuffs from an ally to a random enemy, but then it does damage based off of all the buffs that were, moved. So it's the monk skill plus a little nuke on top of it. From what I hear, it does really good damage. And then it silences them on top of that too, so haha, screw you. His A1 has the same 100% chance to remove a debuff. And then he has the passive that, reduce damage from all order or chaos and order, right? So light or dark, it reduces the damage that your entire team takes from that. Really good against, any content that is light or dark, which it's there. Not as prevalent, but it's there. How I would gear him, I would honestly go as much power as possible. He's a lot of the other Draken mages have sort of debuff or healing utilities with them. This one doesn't. This one is a secret damage dealer. It doesn't look like he would be a damage dealer, but he is. I wouldn't go Vortech because your bombs don't benefit off of Vortech. I would just go as much power as possible. Power in every slot that can have power, HP in the other ones, and then put aim on the bottom two, or you can even do one aim, one speed if you wanted to. You don't want your bombs to get blocked, and you don't want these effects to be blocked. He's really going to put out some good damage if you did that on him. The reason I wouldn't go Witchstone, so if you go Witchstone, his bombs can stun, but Witchstone isn't going to help, his other, make the silence undispellable, but it's not going to help anything else. Versus power is going to help all of his stuff hit harder, and it's going to make his bombs do really, really good damage. So that's what I would do, as much power as possible on him. Alright, now moving on to the Lich, Dark Lich, Vortrin. Origins unknown on that name. This guy's going to have a lot of utility with him. He has a heal block on his A1. He has an AoE silence and dot on his A2. And then he has a single target that does bonus damage based off of all the debuffs on the entire enemy team. So, if there's 10 debuffs across the entire enemy team, then that's 200% extra damage that this A3 is going to do. So, he can hit really hard. And if you want proof of that, go do the last zone. Void, the last stage of Void, or the last zone in the scenario thing or whatever. This is the final boss for the entire little campaign that they have right now. And he's annoying, right? We've all been there. The first time you fought him, you were just trucking along, taking guys down, and you get to him and he just punches your face in. Because this A3 hits ridiculously hard, and on top of that, he gives himself invincibility and immunity for a turn once he kills you with that. And then if that wasn't bad enough, when he dies, he automatically resurrects 100% HP and a 2-turn power buff. So another screw you on top of him being really strong and really powerful. Two train of thoughts. You could run him for his debuffs and make them stronger with Witchstone. Even if you did that, his A3 is still going to hit really hard, even on Witchstone. So you could do that, or you could run Vortech on him. Either and make this A3 just overkill, Either way you go, it's not a bad choice. And either way you go, the gear you would use, where you would use crit rate, double HP, crit damage, is going to be the same. You probably want double aim on his bottom 2 slots, just so that, his silence and his damage over time doesn't get resisted. But really, he has like a built-in single target nuke combo. You start off with the A2, right? That's 2 debuffs on all targets. That's 8 debuffs right there. And then you hit him with this, which does 160% bonus damage if they don't cleanse that off before he gets to go again. Ridiculous. Alright, moving along. The Dark War Mech. All the War Mechs are annoying. They all have this A2, one turn cooldown, or 1 turn off of, or what's called downtime. So it only has 1 turn of downtime before he gets to stun again. Ridiculous. All of them have that. All of them have this chance to stun. So Iron Claw is good for them. He has an AoE attack that also does a heal over time and disenchant. So heal over time to allies disenchant all enemies, so it kind of removes their passives. And then he has this passive that if he's taunting and he dies, he gets to self-revive, right? And it's on no cooldown, right? This skilled up means there's only one turn that you can actually kill him. So, because this is, you know, a 4-turn cooldown, 3-turn taunt. So there's one turn that he's not taunting, and if you don't kill him during that one turn, then he just keeps going back to life. Like, I don't know if they forgot to put a cooldown on this, or if it's just there and just not in text. But if it's I don't have one, and I'm only seeing AI play this in the last hero dungeon. I didn't pay enough attention to see how this plays out, if it continually can happen. But yeah, if it can continually happen, that's crazy OP, like ridiculously powerful. He's probably the best tank in the game if that's the case. Just because you can't kill him, and only a one turn of not taunting. Ridiculous. Obviously, run him tanky. You know, put as much armor on him as possible. HP would be secondary, so like 2 armor, 1 HP. You know, you could run aim on him. You could do Ironclaw aim to make him a stunner. But honestly, I would just make him like, you know, put double block on him and just make it so he can't die. So that it takes forever to kill him. And whenever you do finally get to kill him, you only have 1 turn to kill him. And you better make that 1 turn count, otherwise he's coming back to life. And then he's taunting you again. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. So I wouldn't go Ironclaw aim like some of the war warmans. I would go just extra steel to increase his armor, or even the bone sets to increase his HP. Just make him as beefy as possible. Alright, moving along. The Riftcaller, I don't even know, Andrea, I guess it's Andrea. Interesting way of spelling it. But Andrea, yeah, so Silence on A1, Curse on A2, cleanse, or strip, and then curse. So it removes all buffs, and then curse them so they can't get additional buffs. You know, curse blocks buffs. A3 is an AoE that does max HP damage, and it heal blocks them. And it doesn't turn a curse, but if they are cursed from her A2, or from any other curse, then it stuns them for 1 turn as well. And this has a really good modifier on it. You know, some of them, you know, all of them have an AoE on their A3, and it probably has the same modifier. It does really good damage. You could run her, let's look at her A4. Passive leader skill, block breaks all targets at the beginning of each turn. It can't be resisted or can't be blocked. Pretty good, right? I mean, you know, there's some other ones like other leader skills that probably be more beneficial, but decent leader skill if you needed one. You know, you could either run her Witchstone if you wanted to make use of the debuffs that she brings, make them undispellable. But you know, none of them are really scale. You know, none of her. Yeah, really, I think the things that work best on Witchstone are debuffs that get that 50% boost. You know, like any of them that have like a power buff gets 50% more effective. A power debuff gets 50% more effective. All of those tend to benefit more off of Witchstone than just a curse. You know, you can't make a curse 50% more useful, so instead you make it undispellable. That's great and everything, but it's not as useful. So for her, even though Witchstone would work, I'd probably go Wartech. I would focus on this max HP based damage, make that crit, make that do extra crit damage with Wartech, and boom, you have a ridiculous AoE nuke. That's really what I would go for her. But you could do Witchstone if you wanted to. Obviously, crit rate and double HP crit damage. And aim for her, because she has so many debuffs, you want those debuffs to land, so aim. And now we have the Blade Dancer. Just like all the other Blade Dancers, she hits fast. You know, everything's damage based off of speed. And she does the combo point thing. and her combo point consumer, I'm pretty sure this is the same. Oh no, this is an AoE. So she has the AoE version that, you know, self buffs herself. And it says slow your target, or it doesn't have, yeah, so AoE slow. It's pretty huge. AoE attack, haste her, slow the enemy, lands combo points. And then it does, instead of doing dots on her A3, it does additional damage. So the other ones kind of turn into dot machines. With this A3, with their A3s, she just, you know, hits really hard. And it's an AoE attack. I'm pretty sure all the other ones have a single target attack. Let me see. Single target, single target, single target, and single target. She's the only one that has an AoE on her third skill. So she can AoE combo point, and then AoE do extra damage based off of combo points. Only one that can do that. I would argue the best of the Blade Dancers because of that. If you wanted to just do raw damage. If you wanted to put lots and lots of dots on the enemy, she doesn't do dots. So obviously she's not going to be doing that. And then she has this Blade Rush. So whenever she attacks, she has a chance to increase her speed bar by 20%. Like, and everything's based off of speed anyways, and she's hasting herself. So she just like all of them, they just go and they go and they go, and she just does a ridiculous AoE nuke. So obviously, not so obviously, but gear her Vortec, crit rate, and then HP crit damage. Unless she's not taking it, like with all the Light, Dark, the Chaos Order guys, you know, they might not be taking damage as much as some of the other ones because they're not weak to anything. So you might be able to get away with putting power on the helmet. But if they're taking damage, if they're taking AoE hits and stuff like that, double HP is going to help their survivability. Because, you know, a dead DPS is 0 DPS. So you want them to survive. So I would do double HP. But yeah, crit rate, crit damage, and speed, double speed on the bottom two. I still, you know, if you ask me who I would rather have, this one or the Dark Oathbow, I'd probably rather have the Dark Oathbow, to be honest. But I haven't seen one of these. In fact, it hasn't even been rated yet. So this one's so rare that people haven't even rated it. So she could do ridiculous damage, we just don't know yet. No one knows what her modifiers are compared to like the Oathbow's modifiers. I've seen the Oathbow, the Dark Oathbow in action. It hurts. I would assume she hurts equally, if not worse. Should be worse. Especially with the 15% per combo point extra damage. 20% once you skill her up. Alright, so now we have the Dark Pony, who's like an inverse pony. You know, all the other ponies are based off of healing, and you want to go Life Silk on them and all this happy joy stuff. She's like, nah, we're going to do everything based off of power. We're going to do damage. We're going to heal by taking the health from our enemies. So she has heals on her, right? But all of her heals are kind of based off of power. So the first one, you know, lowest HP, 50% of her power. Second one, heals an ally by 100% of her power. Also does a revive. Her A3 does an AoE attack that does an AoE heal for 90% of her power. And her passive is every time she uses a skill, so anytime she goes, she transfers a debuff from an ally to an enemy. So she moves a debuff from one of your guys to a random enemy, right? So it's sort of a pseudo cleanser. Really, I can see running her a few ways. You could run her Life Silk to increase her healing output. I really wouldn't, you know, that would be like probably the least advised way. You could also run her Swift Steal, right? So that she's doing more cleansing and she's doing more healing from her A1. Or you could also run her just, you know, as much power as possible. So use the Dragon Fury sets to just increase her base power and try to get power up as high as possible. Because the more power she has, the more healing she's going to do. That being said, you still, you know, want double HP on her, if not double HP single armor. You want power on the weapon. You don't want crit, because her healing is based off of power. One of the few heroes that benefit off of power, you know, her and Bombers are probably the only heroes that benefit from power on the weapon. So power on the weapon, probably HP on the helmet, because you need her to survive. If you go straight power on her, then she's going to be easy to nuke down. And you don't want her to just die, and then she's not going to heal or do anything. So double HP, and then you could probably either go power or armor on the gloves, depending on if you needed the extra healing or if you needed extra survivability on the pony herself. There's no reason not to go the block or speed on the bottom two because she doesn't need aim. She's not doing any debuffs. Alright, moving on. And now we have the final Chaos hero, Amon Sur. I saw so many of these get pulled during the Warlord event. It was ridiculous. He's really, really good because of his A3, right? So we'll get there in a second. A1, 50% chance to armor break, 2 hits. A2, he gets the buffs, right? Power buff, crit multiplier buff, and death shield, and the attack bar boost. A3, single target hit does massive damage. It really does do massive damage, but it extends all the buffs on him by 1 turn and spreads them to the entire team. So this, power, crit mult, and death shield suddenly gets applied to the entire team. He doesn't have to kill anyone. It just does it when he uses his A3. It's an AoE death shield. It's pretty ridiculously powerful. And then on top of that, whenever an ally takes damage, he has a 20% chance to counterattack. So he's just counterattacking on behalf of everyone on your team. He's a pretty, not pretty, he's a really strong dark chaos damage dealer. Whenever I talked about the Oathbow earlier, I said he's one of the top. This guy is the top chaos damage dealer. All the warlords are sort of top of their class when it comes to dealing damage. Build him Vortech, crit rate. You don't have to, because of the death shield. You could forego HP on the helmet. Although I will say, I find a few of these in arena, and the way I deal with them is you kind of cross your fingers that they don't take out your damage dealer, and then as soon as their death shield is gone, or if you have an Alpha Strike team before they go and they cast death shield, just nuke them down. So to prevent that, I would say run double HP on them instead of power on the helmet. You definitely want crit rate on the weapon, you want crit damage on the gloves, and you want either speed or block on the ring and the boots. Block would help you survive. Speed would help you get that turn 1. So you want that turn 1 so you can go ahead and get your buffs going. You want block to survive more. So it's up to you which one of those two you value more. But no matter what, Vortech, hit hard, hit and win. That's really, the one person that voted him a food is just trolling, trying to be funny. Obviously he's the keeper. But anyway, so that sums up the Chaos, How to Gear Chaos, and that also sums up the entire How to Gear series. All of these videos are on the video on demand for Twitch. They're going to be taken down eventually. I don't control that. Twitch does that. So they're up on my YouTube channel. They will always be up there. Look for my post on Reddit, or go to my Twitch channel and you'll see a link to my YouTube channel on there. And you can see all of the How to Gear series that I've done so far. I said it earlier in the stream, but for people watching on YouTube, since this is the last How to Gear, I'm not going to be doing any more Sunday videos until another guide comes out. So if a new event comes out and I want to make a guide video for it, I'll do those on Sundays and post them to YouTube on Sunday as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the entire series.